Welcome back, LearnWake members. This is Brandon Judd, and today I'm responding to a video analysis request of a Scarecrow attempt. And this is uploaded by Tyler, or tman0428. And Tyler, thanks for uploading this video. We've been talking a little bit, for those of you just catching up, we've been talking a little bit before this. It looks like this is on a path to success, so I'm really excited to see how well this has been coming along since the first ones you showed me. So thanks for the description too. This helps us. You say that you're having difficulty with the hand placement or having the correct hand on the handle when you land. Any tips to how to train your brain on proper hand placement, or if it would be easier if you started off with a toe side front roll? The problem with starting off with a toe side front roll, once you've gone this far down the path of the Scarecrow, is that the front roll is going to require a lot more rotation. The Scarecrow, you can get away with a little bit of under rotation, but the front roll you have to do like a full flip and a quarter. So if you feel like you can generate enough flip at the wake to stay at your normal stance and land over your toes, then go for it. By all means, give it a shot. But if you're having a hard time getting enough rotation, then you're so close on this, we could just kind of fix it up. Another thing to consider is there are a couple drills that I mentioned before. I think in our private message I sent you a few things you could do, but we'll talk a little bit about that. For now, I just want to talk about a couple small things you could tidy up on the takeoff. So the first one is right now, and I remember I had sent you, for those also just catching up now, I had sent you that video of a mascot at a halftime show doing a front flip to dunk on the trampoline, and there was like a little trampoline angled at a 45-degree angle, and he got his chest back behind his hips and feet when he impacted on the trampoline, and that helped him pitch into the flip better. So that is one thing that you've improved a lot on, and there's still a little bit more room for improvement as well. So when you're taking off the wake here, you can see you're kind of folded in half a little and you're coming forward already. This isn't bad. I mean, you still get a decent amount of pop and everything's pretty good. This is just me being picky. So I'll give you an example of Kyle Schmidt doing the same thing. I'm going to pause his Scarecrow at the same position. So you'll see that his board is a lot further in front of him. Like if I was to draw a line where the board is and then draw a line where his body is, you'll see his body's still behind the board, like it is on that halftime show trampoline flip to dunk that I had shown you. So you can see that he's wedging the board in the wake in between him and his upper body, and that helps him catapult his pop into the air a little easier. Again, you're getting around just fine, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if we draw the line where the board is on you here and then where your upper body is here, they're really close together. So if you ever run into the point where you feel like you're losing rotation or you're not flipping as high because you lose your good habit here at the wake, it's probably because your chest has gotten further and further in front of where your board is. So in order to get a better, cleaner pop, you just want to keep your chest a little bit further back and your board a little bit further in front of you at the takeoff, and that will catapult you a little higher. So if you do want to try the front roll, I would exaggerate that suggestion there and really get the board in front of you and keep your chest back at the takeoff so that you can do a full flip and a quarter to land on your toes. So that's just the takeoff thing and the front roll adjustment. So let's talk about this landing. Everything's pretty good. You come around real nice. Right here, you do mention that you take your front hand off the handle and open up a lot. Even if you have this bad habit of taking the wrong hand off the handle, there's two ways to fix it. So I'm going to explain both of those ways now. The first way is if you can't trick yourself into landing with the correct hand on the handle, you can still recover the trick. The key is not to open up right here. If you open up right here, you stop your rotation of the 180 and you get stuck at like a 90 degrees. So what you'll want to do instead is you'll want to take this hand that is now off the handle and you'll want to bring it back toward the wakes kind of across your body. And if you do that, it'll get your front shoulder and your front foot to come back and point at the boat more. Because right now the way you're landing, you've opened up with that back hand, and it slowed you down so that you're facing the way you're going, and it just stops your rotation. A lot of times people do that because they feel like, they're uncomfortable in their flip, or they're flipping too fast and they want to slow down or kind of get their comfort level about them. So right here, it looks like you might be feeling kind of uncomfortable, and you start to open up a little bit. So if you have access to a trampoline, working on that would help. But if you can just remember to keep your hand not out away from your body, but to bring it over toward the landing side of the wake, and same with your front foot, and that'll prevent you from falling back like that. So let me show you an example of a really old video clip of Phil Sobin. He does a toe side front side 900, but he lands with his backhand on the handle and recovers it. And this is a drill I actually want you to learn how to do, so that you can fix it if you need. So here's the trick, and we'll just kind of watch the end. So he finally got his last, right here, his last hand on the handle, and you'll notice that he does not get his hand back on the handle. The hand that's on there right now, this is your position, right? If you were to look at your video again, one arm was out here, your foot was out here, and you had your backhand on the handle. Watch what Phil does with his right hand here, with his front hand. As soon as he lands, he brings it across his body. You'll notice that he throws his arm almost over the rope to keep him from staying open and falling back on his heels, so that he can get back to riding his normal switch stance position. And what that does, he did it so aggressively to recover, and because he was spinning so much, that even with landing with the wrong hand on the handle, he was still able to land so much, with so much extra rotation, that he ends up edging unintentionally back into the middle of the wakes to save it. So that is to illustrate two things. One, that it is possible to land this with just your backhand on the handle, as long as you don't let your upper body stay open to the boat. If you close that off, it'll help a lot. The other thing is what I want you to do on this drill. So the drill I'm going to have you do is, I want you to edge on your toes. I want you to edge from the left side of the wake to the right side of the wake, or your landing side. You're going to go on your toes, and you're going to do like a little toe side inside out ollie, to off of the inside out roller here. And then when you land, I want you to intentionally edge back, like land on your toes on the brakes. So you're going to want to edge accelerating away from the wakes, and then I want you to land kind of like this with your toes pointed back at the wake, and land with the brakes on, so that see how he's kind of carving back? You'll see he keeps carving up the wake like this. I want you to do that. I want you to take off on your toes, land just like he did, and then carve back up the wakes so that you end up in the middle of the wakes. What I don't want to see is, I don't want to see you edging toe side away from the wakes, and then doing a 180 and landing heel side edging away. I want you to do that 180 over top of the wakes and land on your switch toe side edge coming back into the wakes. It sounds kind of confusing, but it really helps. So you're going to be doing this landing, but without going wake to wake. You're going to do a toe side front side 180, and you're going to land right here and carve right back into the middle of the wakes immediately. What that's going to do is it's going to teach you to land really closed up and not open toward the boat. So you're going to be able to land with the nose of your board pointed more this direction instead of at shore. Just a little toe side, front side 180 from inside out, landing here and immediately carving back inside. You can, to fix the hand position, you can do it all three ways. You can do it with just your backhand on the handle so that you can practice it in case you don't switch hands properly. You can do it with two hands on the handle the whole time, and then you can do it letting go with your normal front hand so that you land with your switch front hand only on the handle. I know it's really confusing in terminology and it's a lot easier to see, but I don't have a video clip of someone doing that, so I had to kind of explain it. But that is the way to fix that, is to train your switch heel side landing to not be so open. You want to train it to be closed where you're edging back into the wakes. So practice that a few times. You can even do some toe side front side 180s and edge back into the wakes like that. I know your toe side's not your toe side wake to wake stuff is not as strong. That might be an area to work on, but I know you're trying to do some crowd pleasers here as well. So I think we can fix this up pretty quickly. You just need to do a toe side front side 180 from the inside to the outside and land carving back into the wake. Do that 2 or 3 times. And try to land with your correct hand on the handle when you're edging back in. If you do that a bunch of times and then you do your Scarecrow and you pretend in your head, you tell yourself you're going to land the same way you landed those other ones, you'll end up coming back around and landing it correctly. And if that is just really confusing and takes too much time to learn, then you can do what I mentioned at the beginning and wedge the board out in front of you a little more and trip a little harder so you can get better rotation and land over your toes. But those are your two options. Whichever one you land first, I'd recommend, eventually, if you get a Scarecrow consistent, I'd recommend also learning a front roll after you've gotten the Scarecrow consistent, or vice versa. If you abandon the Scarecrow completely and get the front roll and you get that consistent for a while, once it's consistent, you can move on to the Scarecrow and you should have two new flips. So if you have any other questions, you can upload another video of you improving that attempt, or you can write us down here in the comments section below, or you can continue our conversation via private message. So thanks again, and good luck.